In 2013, I was a Division I baseball player at a small little school, Mount St. Mary's in Maryland. And I was in the top 10 in the nation in home runs after about 6 or 7 games, ahead of guys like Chris Bryant, things like that. I felt like I was on top of the world. We came back home from a little Florida trip, and the next 6 games, I ended up striking out 11 times. And if you know anything about baseball, that's not very good. And, I went from being on top of the world thinking about, oh man, I'm excited to get drafted. I'm excited to play professionally. I'm excited to do this and that and break all of these records and have such a great season and make all of my teammates and my coaches and my parents happy and dominate and win. And we're going to do so great this season. But it was like I went up here and I felt like off the face of the earth. Because sometimes as athletes, you get so caught up in thinking that, your sport is like the only thing within the world. It's like it consumes us. It can be a good thing and it can be a bad thing at times. However, how does that relate to removing mental blocks? Well, an interesting thing happened at the time. I wish I had these strategies then that I have now. Wherever you're at in your journey, whether you're a coach, whether you're a player, whether you're an athlete watching this, if you want to remove those mental barriers so that's, it's not like one day you're feeling great and the next day it's like you fall off the face of the earth like I did, one of the best things to do is literally imagine yourself 6 months from now, a year from now. Imagine yourself having achieved all of these great things. And imagine what would your future self say? So if I was in the top 10 in the nation in home runs, and I had a little snag where I struck out a little bit, how would my future self act if I was this great player, if I continued to play great and I just realized that this was just a bump in the road? How would my future self act? How would my future self act that was this top 10 in the nation in home runs type player? How would this version of myself act 6 months from now, 12 months from now? How would that ideal future self, how would the perfect version of my future self act? Then all of a sudden it helps your decision making when shit hits the fan, when things aren't going your way. How would my ideal future self act? Ask yourself that. Maybe imagine it, maybe talk to yourself. How would your future self talk to yourself? What would it look like? What would it feel like being that ideal version? Then all of a sudden these little mental blocks that get in our way, instead of getting stuck in these emotions, instead of getting stuck in these shitty feelings, instead of getting stuck in these snags on the road, you have a guiding light. You have a voice to guide you. You have something that you can actually grab onto and say, okay, no. This is how I should act in this situation. This is how I should respond. Not beating myself up and staying down here. So it's getting familiar with this version, this future self version. So I hope that helps you guys out. If it did, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, all that good stuff. I appreciate you guys. Let me know down in the comments what you want to see next, and we'll see you on the next video.